You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Hi everyone, Tom Slivick in the Upcountry, and I'm with Gene Mancebo, and we have a little sign here asks, where does your water come from? Well, in the Upcountry, it's going to be coming from a new source pretty soon. Why don't you tell us about what's happening, Gene?
Sure. Well, today we're having our groundbreaking ceremony to kick off our gravity supply line project. So instead of pumping the water, we're going to go up a little bit higher in the watershed, where we're going to intersect the water at a larger reservoir, the Tiger Creek regulating reservoir, and flow that water by gravity. So that's what we're here kicking off today. So we will be coming from a new source and eliminating power costs.
Okay, so we have a kickoff ceremony here, and our first speaker is going to be who?
Paul Molinelli, Sr., our board president.
Okay, so we're going to be covering that, and a little bit later on, I think we'll have a chance to ask some questions. So stay with us right here on TSPN. This kickoff ceremony is coming your way. Thanks, Gene.
Great, thank you.
Well, again, thank you all for coming. You know, as we all started gathering, I feel the buzz everybody has around here for this particular day, which is a culmination of a long period of time. For us on the board, and I know for all of you past members and the members of the community who I'll address here shortly, but it's a great day for all of us. So let's get going on this short program. Then we'll do a groundbreaking and we'll take some photographs. And we'd like to get everybody in the crowd in at least one photograph. I want to, and I may repeat myself from time to time, but this project couldn't have got going without the help of the County of Amador and the Amador County Board of Supervisors. So to that extent, I'd like to introduce the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Richard Forster. I see we have Supervisor Brian Oneto, Supervisor Ted Novelli, and I think that's it. I want to introduce some other people. We have former directors here of the Water Agency, Richard Forster and Ted Novelli again. Madonna Wiebold over here, Heinz Hyman, or Hammond? Hammond. Don Cooper, where's Don? Came up from the Valley for it. And Paul Scott, where's Paul? We have from Pine Grove Community Services District, and I actually better put on my glasses because I can't see, I can't hear anymore, and I'm losing my sight. For Pine Grove Community Services District, we have Paul Johnston over here. Mesa Meadows, Jeff Brown. And is it David Corner? Hi, David. Good morning. Rab Park, we have Dutch Green and Mike Miller. Mike is recovering from surgery. I'm glad you're here, Mike. And we have a member of the grand jury, standing somewhere here. By the way, the grand jury, thank you very much. The grand jury was a great supporter of this project. That's one of almost everybody standing here has had some part in it. So this really is a great time. Staff prepared a statement for me, so I'm going to go through this, and then I want to get Richard to say something because he's got a time restraint. So this project, since the late 70s, and that's as I started talking to everybody here, we started remembering, and we were going back to Richard Vincent, former supervisor, was going back even further to people who said this project should take place. And as many of you know, I think most of you know that the pumping station taking water out of the McCollum coming up Tiger Creek was always a temporary fix to an emergency drought. And it was always understood that this gravity supply line would sometime take place. Now, ironically, it says here, so I'm going to repeat it, without the Great Recession that we just had, this may not have happened. The financing came as a matter of the stimulus program. So out of something that wasn't so good, some good has come out of it. Again, I'd like to say that for myself, and you know, when Robert Manicero over here is a director, Art Toy, another director, when the three of us were elected, we felt we had a mandate to get this project done. Gary Thomas, another director, is here. I'll get to you, Rich. Gary Thomas is right here. He's longer than all of us. He's been on the board supporting this project. Rich Farrington, the Upcountry District Director, supported this long before he was on the board. Attended almost every meeting supporting him. And by the way, standing next to him is Sherry Curtis, who, in the face of a lot of adversity, was there talking and supporting this thing. But we all felt Rich, when he was elected, had a 70% vote here. Now, that was a clear mandate. And all of us really were elected with a majority vote, and we all used this pipeline and as a point in our election. So we know that the people supported this. Richard, I want to get to some of the people speaking. So Richard, would you like to say a few words? Again, he's got to go, so I'm going to hand him the microphone.
Thank you, Paul. I'm sorry to say that because this is a project that's taking federal money and the government is shut down, we have to end this ceremony. So,
It's all over. Go home.
I guess people can use a reason for anything. I'm glad the water agency is not doing that and not been ordered to do that. But I was trying to remember, I served on the water agency board from 1992 to 2000. I was trying to remember who I served with today. Somebody like Paul Scott was an easy one to remember because Paul was always so cheap on the board. That's a good quality in a director. But he always had that McDonald's coffee cup that he got free coffee anywhere in the United States. Heinz Hammond, I served with, Steve Brown, Bill Barden, Terry Moore, and Les Moore. Les was an easy one to remember because he tended to speak a lot as an engineer, and we told him less is more. So this project's been a long time coming. I don't want to prolong this, but I do have a couple points to make. That the concept of the GSL actually came when I was on the board, and we wanted to get it done. We had no federal funding available. So, you thought about it for years, you put it on the shelf because there was just no funding available for it. It's a common sense project. It's going to save dollars for the agency, for the customers. The ongoing maintenance costs you won't have to worry about other than just routine maintenance, but you won't have those pumps that you have to maintain and hope that they're going to turn on if you need them. So it'll bring reliability to the system. Does it make sense for the customers? I think that's obvious to most of us and most of the customers. There are those out there with agendas, and you know what, we just have to get past that and keep telling the customers it's the best thing for you, and I think they're going to realize that in their rates. The last thing, will it induce growth? Sure it will, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. When I was on the board, and the previous and following board members and agency directors always have the same philosophy. Reliability to the system, create a system that will work long term and that will protect that integrity of the system for generations to come. So I think we're going to have growth in our area just like all areas do, but we're talking long-term growth. You're talking the foreseeable future, and then you look 50 years out and you try to plan for the future. So thank you very much for having me speak today, Paul.
It's a pleasure, Richard. Before I get to Supervisor Novelli, I seen Jim Conklin from the Business Council and Jim Nichetto. Jim, I didn't recognize you with the hat, but the Business Council was a big supporter of this project, and we appreciate that too. I'd like to have Ted Novelli come on up and say a few words. As we mentioned, he was a former director, a member of the Board of Supervisors and the District 3 Supervisor. Thank you, sir. Paul?
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you all for being here. This is a great, famous day. This is outstanding. I can't even think about the number of hours and days that many people and many organizations have looked at this project and have had some input, whether they be consultants, private industry, government industry, et cetera, et cetera. I'd like to thank all the government entities and all the private entities that have helped in one way or another get this GSL going. I've talked to Supervisor Richard Vincent about this. You know, I remember people like Helen Guthrie, people like John Mims, who's no longer here, Mr. Cox, who's no longer here. These type of people that that have been around and have since the late 70s have talked about the GSL. So I just think that this is a great day. All the COP entities, all the people that were on all the COP boards, all those 10 special districts that transformed into COP, those people and those board members have worked on this night and day. They always talked about this. We've always had our COP meetings about this. This is one of the major items on all the COP agenda items, was always the GSL. So this is fantastic. I'd like to thank all the past and present AWA board of directors, all their staff, because at one time or another, all their staff was inundated by this, worked on this in some way or another. I'd like to thank all the planning commissioners, all the board of supervisors that at one time or another had talked about this in regards to how we could get this going forward. And I'd like to thank everybody that's here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted. As I look around, I start seeing.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Seeing faces, and remember, I should mention something about him. I see Joel Lesh over here, represents the Board of Realtors, and without the help of the Board of Realtors, this may not have happened. We thank you. Many of you don't know the stress that our staff at the water agency was under these last 7 years or 8 years, with all the adversity they had to sit through at meeting after meeting after meeting. So for them, this is a very nice occasion. And on behalf of the staff, where's Gene Mancebo? I'd like to have him say a few words. He's the general manager of the agency, and by staff, I see some blue uniforms. I get down to them too. They've had to take a lot over the last 7 years that they've endured.
Great. Well, thank you. You know, as we've been saying, this has been a group effort. There's so many that have put in their efforts for this project, staff, but all of you, most of you have had some input to this, and we appreciate it. This project, it's a green project. We really should start changing the name from Gravity to Green Supply Line. But, you know, it's been a long time coming. We've looked at this project and how it would save customers money. We pay so much in power costs every year, hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the power, not to mention the operating and maintaining of that pump system that's been failing on us. You know, year after year, it just gets worse and worse. So at this point in time, you know, this is a fantastic project to go forward. It's going to save millions and millions of dollars in offsetting of power costs as we go forward in the future, and we're just so excited to see it finally happen. So thank you very much, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Gene. Before I also forget, I want to thank Lucy Hackett and Chris Thompson for putting this together. Chris is not feeling well, and she bucked it up to come today, so we appreciate that. What we want to do, we have coffee. We have, oh my God, look at, now listen, I told you I might, okay, goodbye, thank you. Well, listen, let me introduce you again. Rich Farrington is the District 3 Director for Upcountry, and long before he was elected, he came to every meeting and was one of the biggest supporters of the Green Gravity Supply Line. When he ran, I want to mention, it's quite amazing. I think he received over 70% of the vote. We looked at that and said, the people in the upcountry area support this project. So it gave us even more strength to go on. With that, you'd like to say a few words?
Yes, please. This is a great day for upcountry water customers and their neighbors. They'll receive a great number of benefits from the Gravity Supply Line. Thanks to the Department of Agriculture, the county supervisors, and my fellow board members. First, the customers will get at least a $7 a month reduction in water costs because of the huge savings in the pumping. Over $30 million in a 40-year period, and we won't need to double the water bills to repair and replace the existing pumping system. Second, the benefit to the customers is the water supply can't be shut down by lightning or broken pumps or wildfires like we have had in the past on the current system. Third benefit to customers is the increased fire protection, and not only to existing customers but their neighbors because of the reliable water supply. That was already mentioned. Fourth, the water quality is better with this source of water coming from further up country. Finally, this is a green, zero carbon project that eliminates about 2 million kilowatt hours of electric consumption per year. Not only that, it saves money, it works better, and it protects the environment. I'd like to thank the USDA, which unfortunately they're not here today, the Board of Supervisors, my fellow board members, the wholesale districts, Rab Park, Mace Meadows, Pine Grove, and the AWA staff, and many other people that contributed to this project over the past 35 years. As mentioned, it was talked about when they built the emergency pipeline back in '77. We can all be proud of this accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a picture with a groundbreaking. So we'll get everybody here that's going to be in on the groundbreaking. Then if you don't go away, we'd like to get everybody in a picture of be the class of 2013, and they'll look at us 20, 30 years from now and figure out who the hell we all were.
I get the green shovel.
You get the green shovel. So, okay, so I'll end this, and then we're going to just kind of coordinate getting up here, but stick around. Thank you very much, if I don't get to you all again, for coming.
Well, everyone's getting a great shot of the directors and past directors, as well as Gene Mancebo, the supervisors with their shovels. They look like they can do a lot of shoveling to me, and so we're getting a great picture of this. And once again, it's Tom Slavic. We're here at the kickoff of the Gravity Supply Line. Gravity is green. That's their motto, their saying up there. And we're getting pictures for prosperity, and everything is working out really good. We're going to be talking to some more people in a few moments, so stay with us right here on TSPN. Great big group shot. A lot of people that are involved with this project through the years. Boy, we've got a lot of people.
And action! Hold on one sec. Looks good. One more. Big smile. Action. All right. You never know when these are going to turn up.
Well, Robert Manacero and your lovely wife, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good to see you, Carol. And Carolyn, and you look like you know how to use that shovel.
No, I don't. I always give my shovel to my wife.
Okay, you give her a shovel, so you're going to be doing it?
That's
right
what
after
I'm
you
saying.
finish cleaning up
It's
the
unusual
horse.
to see, yeah, a shovel in his hand, so it's a nice change.
Okay, well that's great. Boy, a long time coming.
Yeah, it's a great event, isn't it? And back in the 70s, that thing started, and that concept was finally got down there where we can actually got it funded and ready to go.
I'm really glad that we went back into the history about how far back it went. I totally forgot it went back before, a few years before I even got into Amador County, and I've been here for, 25 years now.
Yeah, it was a drought of 78 that did that, and from then on it's developed, and here we are. And so this will be great for Upper County, and it's an investment for Amador County. And so the whole county will prosper because of this.
Right, and it's a great investment in saving money as well, which is a double good thing.
No, the water agency spent $300,000 a year in pumping costs. and the power bills, of course, won't go down. So can you imagine in the next 40 years what those electric bills would have been?
I think it's a no-brainer that the GSL is being built.
Running water downhill for basically nothing except it does cost, but anyway, no comparison.
Well, really good talking to you, Robert, and your lovely wife, Carolyn.
Thank you.
And yeah, he does look good with a shovel.
He does. I like the look.
Okay, Tom.
And now we're talking with Paul Scott. Hi, Paul. How are you?
How you doing, man? Doing fine, thank you.
Many years on the water agency.
17 years.
17 years. So it's a good day today.
Beautiful day. It's something a long time coming, but it's going to benefit the whole people up country especially. But how do you beat water flowing down a hill? The cost is the cheapest way in the world. I think it's great.
Makes total sense to me.
Well, Ben Franklin said it well. He said, you don't know what the cost of water is until you don't have any. And we know what it is, but I'll tell you, it's nice having it. I was just telling him that I said, in Los Angeles now, there's some areas where they're paying people not to water their grass. There's no water. Okay. But we got water.
Okay, how you doing, Richard Vincent? Were you on the water agency as well, Richard?
I was never on the water agency. I was on
supervisor for
Community Services District up here before I went on the Board of Supervisors.
Right, so your fingers have been in with the water distribution in the upcountry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Been here since '72. And
it is a big deal here in the upcountry how they get their water and all of that. Also for fire protection.
Right. Well, you know, this gravity supply line thing is a thing that even my old friend Glenn Smith, you remember from Volcano Telephone, was one of his big projects, and that was, why in the world can't we get a gravity line down here so we don't have to pay so much money to pump water up out of Tiger Creek Reservoir? Big project even way back then, and here it is, come to fruition. It's beautiful. It's great. Wonderful project.
Great. Thank you very much.
You bet.
And now I'm with Luther Shore and Ted Valley, Upcountry Supervisor.
Yes.
And,
how you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great.
Good.
And now you're with water for Mace Meadow?
Mace Meadow, yes.
Okay. Now, how does that work out? What is it that you do there?
Well, I'm on the board of directors, so we do everything that we need to get water to our 500 people.
Okay, so this is going to help you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's been a long project. How long have you been at Mace Meadows on the water?
11 years.
11 years, okay. And Ted, this is a big deal, I guess. It's a very big deal for Amador County. Big project for the county, but especially the upcountry.
Right. This is for the upcountry, but it's for all the people in Amador County, because as we all know, the water flows downhill, and as you know, Tom, we have water that comes from this treatment plant right here that goes into Jackson Pines area. We have a tank right off of Irishtown that goes into there. So this is a very great day, very great day.
Okay. It is a very great day, and I believe construction is going to be starting this month, the end of this month?
Yeah, that's what I hear. Mr. Gene Mancebo informed me that today. I asked him that question, so the sooner the better, Tom.
I hear that, and the sooner the better. It's been a long, long project.
Very long project. Mr. Mems and Mr. Cox, who are not here anymore, who have passed, I remember them talking about this project in the late 70s, and there were...
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Some of the people that got me involved with the water entities, I was on Ridgeway Pine Mutual Water, which is one of the 10 entities of COP, Central Amador Water Project. And back in those days, all the COP members would all help each other out, and it's a great day.
Right. Now, these tanks behind us, these are pretty new tanks?
Yes, these are new. This treatment plant up here started in, I think groundbreaker, don't quote me on this, was 204, but I think they got up and running around 207.
Right. And, when we first moved here, Susie and I, of course, we looked in the upcountry to see, basically because we love the pine trees and everything, but when we found out about, all of the snow, the difficulties of maybe being able to make it to work in Stockton, was saying, I think maybe we'll move to Pine Grove where you're kind of above the snow, or rather just below the snow line. And a lot of the tanks around them, when we would go around and see them, they were wooden
redwood tanks. Yes, we still have some upcountry here that are still redwood tanks. We're trying to replace some of those, but we do.
Right. So the water agency always making headway here and making the systems better for their customers.
Correct. AWA's Amador Water Agency is doing a great job in helping that facilitate all the customers.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Ted.
Thank you, Tom.
And thank
Tom.
you.
Yes, sir.
And now I'm with Heinz Hammond, former Amador Water Agency Director.
For District 1.
Okay, now how long were you a Water Agency Director?
I was elected in 1998 and I left in 2008.
Okay, so this has gone through everybody from the 70s. It's been, one of the projects they were always looking for. A pretty important project.
Oh, this is huge for the upcountry water system. This is probably this, other than the Buckhorn treatment plant, this is the single most important achievement for the COP customers that could have happened. It really is. It's huge because, as Gary said, gravity never sleeps.
Okay. Was most of the problem, it sounded like from Richard Forrester and the others, of saying it was getting funding for this project?
That's exactly right. Anytime you take on a large infrastructure project, how you finance the project is critical as it affects rates and everything. And so what you have to do is you have to strike a balance between rate-based funding, grant-based funding, and long-term bonds to make a project go. And from what I understand, they were able to get significant grant funding. You heard Paul say that the water rates were going to drop, the water rates were going to drop for the COP customers $7 a month, and that's huge.
Right, it is huge. And for people that might be watching this, Amador County with only about 36,000 population, and then up here in the upcountry, certainly quite a lot less than that. Using this, that was not many customers to be able to pay for a project this big.
Right, and that was probably one of the major sticking points over time, as well as negotiations with PG&E and all the regulatory requirements, NEPA, CEQA. Anytime you have a small customer base, you're always concerned, the board is always concerned about the rate impact, and so that's why they have to look at the more creative funding and the long-term funding for capital projects like this. And without the USDA grant money, the rate impact would have been massive, but now you see with the funding, it's a whole different story.
Okay, thanks a lot, Heinz.
Thanks, Tom. Good to see you again.
You too. All right. And now I'm with Art Toy and Gary Thomas. How are you, Gary?
I'm doing good. This is a great day.
Certainly is. So a lot of things came to fruition today, and let me talk to you a little bit about the funding. So was I correct in hearing Richard Forrester saying that a lot of this was built because of the stimulus money?
Sure it is. There's a lot of reasons it's being built today. The main reason is, you got to remember, it's just a great project.
Sure.
Go green and everything else. Gravity doesn't sleep and everything else, but we have a lot of public support, so it's a great project. We're here. There was a lot of challenges in getting this project going, some from the members of our community that just had their head elsewhere, but that's my nice way of saying that.
Okay.
But here we are. We're having a great day. We're starting a project, and it'll be good for this community. So.
Right. Okay. Great. Thank you for your comments there. And the funding was very important.
Well, it doesn't get built without the funding, and this is a really kind of an exceptional split between loan and grant. That normally you don't get a $5 million grant on a $13 million project. So this is a great ability, to get a project done at the absolute cheapest for the upcountry residents, and save them money and get much more reliable water at the same time. How many home runs can you hit with one project?
Right, and certainly we got some tax dollars back here in Amador County to build this, and it was a wonderful project, and people are going to be enjoying it for years and years because, water's basic.
Yeah, water's basic, and water is the thing which binds the West together, and the only thing that keeps the West going is water. So it's really crucial to anything that we do here in the West.
Okay. So one big project off the I guess you could say you're taking off the table at the Amador Water Agency.
One big project off the table. One big project that makes a lot of sense. Too much sense. It should have been built years ago. So when I first got on, we looked at the project and decided it was a project we need to go with. And I think some of the people that decided that it was a good project probably figured it never get funded. And here we are, ready to go with the project. It's
Right, it would seem like you always want to keep moving ahead because you actually never know what's going to transpire, and help you out as long as you're as you want something and you're moving towards that direction. A lot of things happen.
Right. A lot of things happen, and this is a good one. So, as far as other projects, we'll see how they go. Every project we do is going to be a constant battle, but we're taking on projects that make sense for the community and so forth. And I'm proud of my other directors that have stood and supported something like this project. So it just makes too much sense for the community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And now I'm with Rich Farrington, and Rich, this is your district.
Yes, Upcountry is District 3, and it's the same district as the County Supervisor, Ted Novelli.
Okay, and as it was said, this was a big deal during your election campaign. One of the major talking points, and not just a talking point, but one of the things that you wanted to get done.
Yeah, I campaigned basically on 3 issues. They were reduce water rates, build the GSL, and improve our fire protection. And with this effective July 1st, the water rates have gone down. The base service charge rate is about $3.25 less. This today is starting the construction on the GSL, and that will help a little bit with our fire protection. But there's a lot more that needs to be done, and I'm also working on that, on a grant to start kind of improving our piping system so we have better fire protection.
Okay, well, we can always use better fire protection here in the upcountry and even the low country here in Amador County.
Yes, CAL FIRE has mapped the county, all counties in California, and they've designated this area from basically upcountry, Pine Grove up, as in the high extreme fire hazard area. And so we definitely need to be prepared. It's not if a fire will come our way, it's when.
Right. The conifer forest is very subject to wildfire, and when it burns from almost the floor to the top if it gets out of hand.
Yeah, the state's CAL FIRE's criteria on defensible space, 100 feet, is extremely important. That's probably the first line of defense. But when we get a fire that burns a house and then it gets into the forest and starts burning up the neighborhood houses, that's where we're really going to need a large quantity of reliable water. Last year, twice, lightning disabled our existing pumping system. In fact, one of the times a lightning bolt hit a house and started on fire, and God forbid, the pumps were shut down, that the fire department saved the house and did not get into the surrounding forest.
Okay, Rich, very nice talking with you, and I'm glad, just like you, that this day came to fruition.
Yeah, great. I'm really excited. It's a lot of great benefits for existing AWA water customers upcountry as well as their neighbors.
Thank you. And now I'm with Supervisor Brian Onetto. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good, Tom.
Okay, so you represent District, what is your district?
5. District 5.
And 5, of course, that's down in the Plymouth area, and as well as it comes up some of the back part. Tell us how far east it goes.
It goes up almost where Shake Ridge Road hits Highway 88. It's about probably a mile and a half west of there is where my district stops.
Okay, so a lot of your district is in the conifer forest.